Yo guys, we're back for another episode of our bolting career mode on the FIFA 19. Starting off today's episode, getting straight back into the games, this time with a game against Birmingham City, who are in 19th. We are in 10th at the minute with our 6 points that we've picked up from our last two games in the league. Won the last two in the league, so hopefully we're looking to continue that run and hopefully extend and keep being able to push on, getting the victories in this game. Hopefully do it in the next one as well, but right now we were focusing on this Birmingham game. Hopefully trying to get us a few points out of this one. It'll be a difficult game to play, but hopefully we can get the 3 points out of it. And one man we were definitely looking at keeping an eye on in this game was Shay Adams. He is a player that I know is very difficult to defend against on any FIFA, and is a player that I'd also like to sign if I get the chance to at some point. But anyway, getting straight into the clips here with Vela coming forward, giving the ball to McGuinness, who takes the shot and hits the outside of the post. Unluckily there for us, it does go out for a goal kick. Decent shot from McGuinness, but couldn't quite get anything out of that shot. It didn't end up in the back of the net, unluckily for us. But for a little fact, that was in fact his first shot in the first 4 games that he has played. That's his only shot out of those, which is absolutely shocking for a striker. But hopefully he can push on from this and learn a little bit with hopefully pushing on from that. But as you see there, they had a quick attack there, but Alnwick keeps us in the game and makes the save very well. As we now come forward on the attack at this point in the first half, even though there hasn't been many clips showing it, we were absolutely dominating Birmingham. Sammy Amiobi getting into an open position there and absolutely fluffing his chance with a bad touch really, and the defender gets back just in time to make the block in front of the keeper, which was very well defended. But like I say, they really weren't troubling in the first half. We were absolutely dominating them. But straight on in the second half, they came out with a different outlook on the game as they take that shot. And Lukas Zukovic with an absolutely wonder strike there, getting deflected off one of our defenders from the first shot. As you see here, it gets deflected into his path. He runs onto it and absolutely smashes one beyond the keeper into the back of the net. It was an absolutely brilliant strike there from Zukovic. I couldn't believe it. There was nothing I could say to complain about this goal for how well it went in the back of the net. And for the first few minutes of the second half, they were looking threatening. So at the end of the day, they take their chances. We haven't taken ours so far. And really, we should have been in the lead in that first half, but we didn't take our chances. They took theirs, and they are now in the lead. But anyway, we do come forward trying to look for that equaliser in this game, getting McGuinness on the ball, who gives it Amiobe, who works some space and gives it to Williams, who gives it back to McGuinness, who takes the shot, it gets deflected, and Vela puts the ball in the back of the net to make it one apiece. It was a brilliant piece of play there. McGuinness, not with the best of shots. It was a good piece of defending, though, from the defender there, from the Birmingham man. But it does, unfortunately for them, fall in the path of Josh Vela, who absolutely rockets one in the top corner of the Birmingham goal and brings us back level. Hopefully now trying to push on to get the win in this game after seeing how well we played there. We were just trying to look in search of the winner. As you see here, we do exactly that with this attack. Will Buckley on the ball, who gives it Ireland a little flick, and Will Buckley hits the shot. And at this point, I was wondering why Campbell was celebrating, because it looked like it just went straight in from Will Buckley's shot. But as you'll see in a minute from the clips, it does in fact deflect off of Campbell. It was going to end up in the back of the net anyway, even if Campbell wasn't there. It was the slightest touches from Campbell, but it ends up in the back of the net. As you see here, it got a little deflection and ends up in the back of the net with a brilliant piece of play. At the end of the day, it wasn't expected there from Campbell. It does end up in the back of the net, and that's his third goal in three substitute appearances for us, which we are very, very happy with. And that completes our comeback. We were just looking to secure the victory at this point. With Olowoski down that right hand side, cuts in against his man. It comes to Will Buckley, who somehow puts that header wide of the post. That should have ended up in the back of the net. But I have no complaints, as at the end of the day, we did keep our win streak going. That's 3 on the bounce for us now. From that first game, we hadn't won that first game, but since then we've won every game in the league, which is the last 3 out of 3. And I'm very, very happy with the way the team are playing at the moment, and to show the determination in this side to get the turnaround in this game after going 1-0 down. I'm very, very happy with getting this, getting them 3 points. But anyway, we go into our second game and our final game of today's episode, which is against Sheffield United. We do make a couple of changes in this game, as the team was very tired. So as you see here, we put Matthews in goal. We changed Deutsch up front. We put Lloyd Dyer out on the left. And that is all we really changed, because them players were looking quite tired. So we thought we'd have a bit of a change round, use players that we haven't actually used before, and hopefully bring them into a bit of good form, and maybe even get them a first start, or a starting position, shall I say, in this side. If they play well enough for this game, they might end up playing a few more matches. They were out to prove that straight from kickoff. As you see here, we were looking threatening straight away as we come forward on the attack with Browns, who gets the ball inside to Lowe, who finds Deutsch, who turns his man. It was an open gap, which I somehow didn't pass into. Lloyd Dyer picks up the ball. He tries and jukes around his man. He gives it to Deutsch, who lets off an absolutely wonder strike there, bending it into the top corner. With 3 minutes gone on the clock, he puts the ball in the back of the net to make it 1-0 to Bolton against Sheffield. And honestly, the way we had been playing in these past few games, this is exactly what we needed. As you see there, it deflects off the inside of the post and into the back of the net. It was a wonderful strike when you think he's only been playing 3 minutes of football this season, including pre-season and everything like that. This is his first few minutes on the pitch, and he gets and hits a shot like that. What a finish from Deutsch. And from that, I was thinking, okay, we're actually in for something good here. But as you see here, Vela picks up the ball after intercepting. He goes through what Deutsch did, and unluckily, this time, it hits the opposite side of the same post and deflects out, and the defenders get it clear. But as you see here, we were looking very, very threatening as Sammy Amiobi whips across him. It does get cleared, but it comes to Lowe, who passes it to Dyer. He uses his pace to get round the defenders and puts the ball in the back of the net from the opposite post this time. Both posts being used in both goals in this game, and they've both ended up in the back of the net. The posts have been in action 3 times in this game. One of them got deflected out, but the other 2 have ended up in the back of the net, and it's the 2 lads that are brought into this side for this game, Lloyd Dyer and Deutsch, both getting on the score sheet in this game. So far, they are looking very, very threatening. And at this point, I was thinking, how well is this going to go for us? How many goals are we going to be able to score? Because we were looking dangerous whenever we came forward on the ball, really. And we were just holding them back. They weren't being able to attack at all. But as you see here, we lost the ball, but got it straight back. Lloyd Dyer gives it to Vela, who gets it back. Dyer gets it back from Vela. He cuts inside, gives it to Amiobi, who takes the shot, but this time Henderson, shall I say, gets the save and keeps them in contention, I guess. But as you see here, we were just opening up the defence far too easily, and Dyer takes the shot, but this time the defender gets in the way and keeps his side only 2-0 down. As you see here, it does get deflected off the inside of his leg. I think it would have been straight at the keeper anyway, and an easy save for the keeper. But you can never be too sure on this game, as the keepers should be making some saves and absolutely flop them. But anyway, we do come forward on another attack 38 minutes into this game. As you see, Olawoski picks up the ball on this right hand side. He tries to give it to Deutsch, but it does get cleared out for a throw in, which we do go ahead and take. One of the lads goes over in Olawoski, who were looking very, very good even to start this season. He was defending well and getting forward and doing brilliant there. His fella crosses the ball in. Deutsch takes a header. It gets deflected. It wasn't a good header from Deutsch, and it ends up in the path of Dyer, who taps the ball in for an easy finish. And look at this for a piece of play. As you see here, Vela whips the ball in. It comes to Deutsch, who absolutely fluffs his shot. It was literally the slightest of touches from Deutsch, and it ends up being in the path of Lloyd Dyer with pretty much an open goal. He taps it into the back of the net to score his second goal of the game and our third of the game. At this point, Lloyd Dyer had 2 goals with an assist, I believe, and Deutsch had a goal and an assist as well, which just proves how well these 2 players were playing in this game. I was very, very happy knowing that we could change the squad around and still get the performances that we need, if not better. As you see, we are 3-0 up, and 44 minutes in, they come forward on pretty much their first attack of the game, as Liam Clark gets in front of the defender and puts the ball in the back of the net to bring them a goal back. As you see, it makes it 3-1. We were just I think we were that hyped on going 3-0 up in the first half. They just came and hit us on the counter attacking. We weren't expecting it. I don't know how. It was a nice piece of passing there, but I don't know what the defenders were doing there. He shouldn't have even had the chance to get his head on the ball there. But Olawoski, probably one of the only mistakes he has made in these first few games, and it ends up in a goal. He's been our best player on the pitch so far, Olawoski has. Fair enough, he's not scoring the goals and stuff like that, but he's being so brilliant at defending and going forward, getting in crosses, getting in good attacking positions, and at the end of the day, he's probably been our best player, and that one lapse of judgment puts us a goal down. But we do go 3-1 up. As you see here, we go and get an absolutely silky finish. The cheeky chip from Sami Yamiobe puts us 4-1 up 64 minutes into this game. What a piece of play. As you see here, it just opens up, and I thought I have to try and chip this. And what a silky finish. Even watching this now, it's probably one of my best goals that I've scored on FIFA 19 so far. Fair enough, I've hit a few that have been absolute bullets, but that one, for how silky the chip was, just absolutely makes a brilliant finish. But it is 4-1, and that is how this game does end. And that means we keep our win streak going for 4 on the bounce now. Playing absolutely brilliantly, playing fluidly. We thoroughly should have won this game. But to be fair, we dominated them in the first half and was very clinical with our finishing. At this point, we were looking very threatening in the first half, like we were going to absolutely dominate the game throughout. But they came back in the second half, and honestly, if I'm going to be honest, they dominated us in the second half. They looked like they were going to turn the game around, but they just wasn't clinical with their finishing like we was in the first half. If they were clinical in the way we were in that first half, they would have probably came back to draw, if not win the game. They were looking very threatening, but we now go into deadline day, trying to make a couple of last minute signings, maybe sell on a couple of players as well if we can. As you see, we get an offer, the first bit of transfer business for Andrew Taylor, which we go ahead and reject. But we do go in for a new signing in Rusavalo, a free agent, a player that looks to be quite good. Got a bit of pace about him, only 26 years old. Like I said, I ain't all about signing young potential players. I'm looking at signing decent players that can do bits in the first team now that ain't going to be unbelievable potential players. As long as they can do the bits in the side while they're in it, I don't really mind. As you see here, he is going to be an important squad role, and on a 5-year contract, we tried to get him on. He didn't want to be there for 5 years, so he puts in a 3-year contract. At the end of the day, for a free agent, if he can come in and do bits for the first couple of seasons and I can sell him on, at the end of the day, I'm making money, and hopefully he can do bits for us as well and actually be a decent player. So if we can get him in the side, it'll be a very good signing for us. As you see here, he's going down from a 9,100 wage that they're recommending us to nearly a £5,000 wage, which for us is unbelievably good, because it shows this game is thought out a lot more, in the sense of free agents who are willing to accept a lot lower wage because they ain't at a club, or because your club's not as high as what he could be going to, I suppose. But as you see here, he is our first signing of the transfer deadline day, and we go in straight again for another player in Van Buren, 26-year-old striker who is on the transfer list, a 2 million current value. So we go in and put in a 1.5 million offer to try and bring him in for a little bit less, to see if we can get him for that 500 grand less, and they go ahead and accept it straight away, which I was very, very surprised with and very happy with as well. But we now go in for our third signing of the transfer of deadline day, which is Cameron Howison, 23 years old, centre mid from, I believe it's New Zealand or Australia, one of them. He looks like he's going to be a decent player, only 3,500 on the wages as well, which is recommended. He might take less than that. He gets a squad rotation player, as we do go in for. He isn't going to be one of the outstanding players. He's going to be like a squad building player, I guess, and he'll be there if we need to change the squad round in any way. As you see, we get the contract length of 3 years on this one, trying to at the end of the day, we wasn't looking for a big signing in this transfer window. We weren't scoring many goals in the first few games. That's why I went into the striker in Van Buren. We were looking to score a few more goals in the side, but anyway, we go in for a centre mid to maybe create a few chances as well. As you see here, he wants a £1,900 wage offer, which I was very happy with. At the end of the day, £2,000 on the wages isn't a lot for a player of what calibre he is going to be at. At the end of the day, he's probably only going to be a squad building player, like I say, but he does come in for that £2,000 wage offer, and I'm very happy with that. But now we go in for Van Buren's contracts to try and bring in the new striker, try and get a new striker that can maybe bag a few goals this season. As like I say, we were scoring goals, but it weren't the strikers scoring them goals. So we definitely needed to bring someone in. As you see, he wanted a 10 grand wage, which we definitely wanted to get a lot lower than that, realistically. But we do get a squad role of an important squad role. So at the end of the day, he isn't going to be begging to go into the first team all the time and then complaining about it because he isn't in the first team. Again, we go in for a 5-year wage contract length, and he goes ahead and says 3 years again, like every other player seems to do in this career mode at the minute. We go ahead and accept it, as like I say, there's no point in trying to hustle over these things because it just doesn't work anyway. And the release clause, there isn't one in this one, because at the end of the day, I don't want to put a release clause on a player as soon as they've came into the squad unless they are good enough when they're playing at the side. As you see, he takes nearly a £3,400 wage deduction for £6,600 on his wages, but he does come back after we reject the bonus that he wanted and say 7,600. But at the end of the day, 2,400 off what we wanted. We go ahead and accept it, and this is how this squad will look going into the first after this transfer window. As you see, a couple of signings get rejected, and the Will Buckley one gets counter offered. But anyway, that is all for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and peace.